Okay, here we are in day 4 of our 5-day live series. So far, we've been talking a lot about doing the inner work, right? And basically developing your relationship with your sensitivity. And that's crucial. That is so important. As you come on, definitely say hi. I'm just waving at anyone who pops in. So the past 3 days, I've been talking about how to deepen your relationship with your sensitivity, which is super important. That looks like anchoring into your needs, right? Identifying what it is that you need and how it shows up in different scenarios, how you feel about those needs, addressing your shadows and integrating your shadows in order to then change your mindset, which is what we talked about yesterday, so that you are coming from or treating yourself from a more neutral standpoint, right? Like observing yourself, witnessing yourself, allowing yourself to be without that necessarily being a negative thing or a positive thing. Not that it would hurt, but when push comes to shove, being able to witness yourself and observe your sensitivity specifically in neutrality is where you're going to benefit the most from utilizing your sensitivity, right? And honoring it. Today, I'm going to step away from that because that is our foundation, right? That is what allows us to get to what I'm talking about today, which is taking the action, right? Cultivating your ideal environment. And what do I mean by that? Because you, as a highly sensitive person, are so flexible and adaptable to change, transformation, and, chaos in change, the chaos of transformation can be overstimulating. But I'm not saying that you have got to control every facet of your life to your liking so that you can avoid overstimulation and avoid energy leaks and avoid big emotions, right? So you're never drained. That's not at all what I'm talking about or what I coach on, right? Because that is counterintuitive, it's counterproductive to you harnessing your sensitivity so that it's serving you all the time. Your sensitivity has got to be, or your relationship and the dynamic you have with your sensitivity has got to be as flexible as you are to the needs of others, right? So that's why today I'm talking about what actions you've got to take in order to not deepen your relationship, but now widen your relationship with your sensitivity, which is super important. I'm a big fan of doing both because there is a difference between understanding your sensitivity and taking action to honor your sensitivity, right? That is the difference between feeling paralyzed by having too much information, right? An example being if I were having an issue with a close friend of mine and I let them know, hey, I'm just overwhelmed and overstimulated by this problem, right, that we're facing, and I'm scared for our friendship, and I want to let you know, awareness, super beautiful, and acknowledging your needs is important. But acknowledging the thing isn't the same thing as embodying that information or integrating that information to embody your sensitivity, right? It's all right, without the integration, it kind of feels all right, why are you telling me this, right? Not even to your friend, but to yourself. What am I going to do with this information? I'm overwhelmed. I'm scared. I'm nervous. where do we go from here, right? Kind of that feeling of being at a crossroads. When you integrate your shadows, integrate your conditioning around your sensitivity, and in order to adopt a more neutral standpoint, right, of treating yourself with compassion, which is healthy detachment. That's what that concept shows up as in this example. You're able to surrender to feeling overstimulated, and in this particular example, feeling like you don't know where to go, and that not cause anxiety in you, and instead cause tranquility and a sense of calmness in you, because you're okay with not having all the answers, right? There's a huge difference in that transformation, and a part of that transformation looks like taking accountability for your needs, okay? We're not just learning about our needs and understanding that we operate differently than our non-highly sensitive friends. We are holding ourselves accountable to meeting our needs when the time comes. And that's super important, right? The difference between understanding something and embodying what you know, embodying your wisdom. And so, I guess in thinking about how you want to do that, a practice that I have in my Foundation to Success bundle, that is my low ticket bundle that I have. You can access that. It's in the link in my bio, or you can message me about it. But in that bundle what's included in it is the highly sensitive self-mastery masterclass. And I'll pull up a worksheet from that masterclass, actually, just to give you a sneak peek of what you get when you get the bundle, because these are the exercises that are going to get you actively embodying your sensitivity, actively fulfilling and meeting your needs every single day, right? So these worksheets, they're called the Highly Sensitive Guide to Self-Mastery. And in it, just to give you a little sneak peek, in these worksheets, this is just a bundle of the 2 workbooks and worksheets that you get in that bundle, right? But these worksheets, you get to actually list what is fueling you and what is refueling you, right? What those activities look like, because it's going to look different for you, and depending on the day too, right? And depending on your mood, depending on your energy levels, you writing out the activities that are fulfilling a need, either fueling you, by either refueling you, right? Protecting your energy and using and utilizing your energy. That's how I like to differentiate those 2 types of activities, because both can be energy protection, it can be fulfilling your needs as a highly sensitive person. But the point, or the reason why I have you write it out and list it out, is so that you can actually take action. And you have it's more of like getting rid of the decision making, right? Being able to sit down and write out, which you can do in these worksheets, but honestly, do it in a journal, right? Do it when you're, to yourself, or in conversation with your friends, and, brainstorming some of the ways in which you'd like to spend time with the people that you care about, and also spend time with yourself, right? The point is, once you're able to identify your go-to activities and what exactly they do for you and your energy, it's all about taking action and holding yourself accountable. Because when we are honoring and harnessing our sensitivity, you gotta have self-trust, right? You've gotta be able to trust that even when things feel a little overwhelming and things feel uncertain, you can trust that ultimately you will not only be able to identify and acknowledge that there is a need of yours that's not being met or your needs have changed, but also you can trust yourself to fulfilling that need without having to rely on anyone if you don't want to, right? And eventually trusting that the people that you have in your life, you've chosen, and you've just chosen as your tribe, right? The people that you want to have around, so that when you want to rely on someone or when you need to rely on someone, you trust that you've made the right decision, right? You've chosen the people around you with care, and you know that they care about you and they are willing to listen if meeting your needs simply looks like communicating a boundary, right? Or communicating that you need help. There's something about, and this has been coming up a lot for me this week, so I want to kind of emphasize it in this live before I sign off. But the thing that keeps coming up is keeping promises to yourself is really, really key, really important to building the self-trust that is required and so essential for harnessing your sensitivity, right? Being able to say and feel confident in saying that you can rely on yourself to show up for you in moments of overwhelm and overstimulation. Once you have that built in, right, and developed, and you feel real calm about that, that truth gets reflected outside of you. And that's what I mean by cultivating your environment. Hello, waving at ya. But that's what that means, right? That's what I mean when I say cultivating your ideal environment. It's not about control. It's not about controlling every facet of your life. It is about feeling so grounded in your trust, right? In your self-trust and in your relationship with your sensitivity, because it's not only deep, it's also wide, right? Meaning you are taking action to fulfilling your needs no matter where you are, right? No matter who's around, and all of the other things that you cannot control. Building that foundation within yourself is only going to be reflected back at you in time, because the decisions that you make honor your sensitivity, so then eventually the people around you are people that honor your sensitivity and care about your sensitivity, so that in your workplace, you have communicated your needs so many times, right? Enough that, your coworkers and your boss and all of your, in terms of like supervisors, anyone who is of authority, anyone who is, that's kind of weird. Talking about levels in the workplace and a hierarchy and roles, it's kind of weird to me, but ultimately, everyone is treating everyone with respect, and the way that people can, respect your boundaries is because you've communicated them, right? You have trusted yourself in showing up for you in that way, and then your outside world reflects that truth. That's what I mean by cultivating your environment, and it all starts with you, right? So that is all for today's live. If you need help or would like further guidance in cultivating your ideal environment to gain self-mastery, right? In developing this relationship with your sensitivity, not only deepening it by identifying and understanding your needs, but widening it by taking action and having that reflect into every aspect of your life, the Foundation to Success bundle is available for $47. Afterpay is an option at checkout. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. AJ says, I get that the idea of seeing the world in ranks is so ingrained. Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of touched on this in yesterday's live, but the concept of even being conditioned to believe that the word sensitive is somehow puts you on the lower ranks socially, right? Because things like shyness and being quiet is somehow regarded as timid and weak, right? So I'm not a fan of entertaining those kind of social roles, right? But yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to experience the many different environments in which you take space in. You don't have to experience those, those roles that way. And it starts with making sure that you are not treating yourself as a lower rank, right? Breaking and pattern interrupting some of those cycles that were built in from our conditioning is super important. And so that's it. That's the end of today's live. I am going to lower my music so we can end with some grounding breaths and a sound bowl. Okay? Make sure that when you inhale, your chest and your stomach expand in unison and in sync. You can let out your whatever breath you have before we start, and we'll do 2 breaths. Okay, breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. One more time, breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Nice. All right. Ending with the sound bowl. I do not really, what's the word that I want to say? Facilitate sound bowls with others. I just kind of let everyone individually relate to and enjoy these sounds and the frequencies as they experience it. Though I will share that when I use the sound bowl, I do like to imagine that the sound, like the breath, right? Inhaling in and exhaling out. The exhale, it would be releasing tension for me. Inhaling would be inviting and welcoming vitality and energy, good energy into me, right? Listening to the sound bowl feels that way, right? As the sound travels, I imagine that it is also cleansing my space, releasing and pushing away negativity, inviting warmth, right? Again, also like filling me with vitality. That's just how I experience the sound bowl. However you experience it, you can let me know. And if you're watching the replay of this live, definitely let me know in the comments what your mindset is and how you envision your energy and your experience. That'd be beautiful. I'd love to hear about it. But here we go. so much for joining me in this live. I'll see you guys tomorrow.